and sit down. Shut up and sit down.
Hello and good evening and welcome to another episode of Build Paint Play. I'm Dave.
And I'm Jake, and we are joined again by our two fellow warlords to round out the four. Jeff and John are here with us.
Welcome, Jeff and John.
Thanks.
Excellent. How are things going, guys? Good.
Well, pretty well, yeah. I had a long stint of airbrushing over the weekend. I made a lot of progress, and yeah, feels good.
Fantastic. Jeff, you had your painting marathon over the weekend?
We did. We had our big hobby-thon. We painted, we started Friday morning at 7, and then literally painted for 3 days with a morning and an evening update on what we got done, and got a lot accomplished. It was good.
Excellent. Jake, did you get any?
I'm not gonna lie, seeing all the good work that John and Jeff have done, and you're always cranking through stuff. I am so far behind. Like Jeff and I were talking the other day. He technically has more models to paint still than I do, but 4 of mine are tanks. So like that's problematic. But no, it's good. I got a good chunk done last week. You guys saw all the stuff that I built. So I finished building and priming all of the infantry I've left. I did my Zenithal primes. They're all set.
Let's not talk about it all now.
Oh, I thought we were doing our hobby roundup thing.
We're doing the hobby roundup, but unless you had some hobby that wasn't, did you have some hobby that wasn't Tale of Four Warlords?
I did. I played a little bit. I played some role playing games over the weekend, and then for 40K stuff, when you guys were on last, and I started reading the Solar War series, the Siege of Terror books. So I finished. I'm halfway through book 4.
Okay.
I read really fast, so I blew through the first 2 books. What is it? The first one is the Solar War, which I think is that Dan Abnett?
I think it's John French.
Yeah,
John French.
Yeah, you're right. The first one's Solar Wars, John French. The second book is Lost of the Damned, which is Guy Haley, and that was great. And then first one was Gav Thorpe, and like I've met Gav, super nice guy, but the book is a little slow, and part of it is like it jumps back and forth. So it's like, here's Perturabo and what he's doing. You're like, that's pretty cool. And then it's like, here's Dorn and like what he's doing to counter move Perturabo. And you're like, that's kind of cool. And then they're like, here's a bunch of guys who are coming from one of the Nord Afric colonies and like they're on their way. And you're like, oh, okay. And then it jumps back to Perturabo and you're like, oh, that's pretty rad. And then it jumps back to Dorn and you're like, oh, I see what he's doing. And then it's like, here's Trooper whatever. And they're like getting on a train. And I'm like, okay. Like, so a third of the book is about this regiment that's like on their way to fight, like, you know, at the Imperial Palace. And then like the big, like, M. Night Shyamalan moment is like in you know, the third to last chapter, they unfurl the banner and it has like the eye. And you're like, okay. And then like, that's it. They're like, oh, and now we'll truly fight. And then like two chapters later, Dorn's like, all those reinforcements that I had like meeting up in the middle of nowhere, like, what are they doing? And one of his like Huskarls is like, oh, there were some troops loyalists to the War Master mixed in and they launched an attack, but you know, we handled it. And the rest of the army will be ready to move in like 10 weeks. And he's like, well done. And you're like, why did I waste a third of this book reading about this unit that's just going to get obliterated? Like it's really weird. But I mean, like it's not a knock on the quality of the writing because writing is good. It's just like, you're like, if you just cut that out, it didn't either. It doesn't deliver at all. Like there's no payoff. literally they have an off-screen death. They have an off-camera death.
Yeah.
But now I'm like halfway through Saturnine, I think is the
Right.
that's what I'm on now.
Yep.
That one's rad. That one's really cool. Like there's the whole thing where like Camba Diaz is there and he's awesome. We were talking I don't know. Have you guys all read the books? Have you guys read the Siege of Terror books?
No.
I haven't yet.
No? Wow. Okay.
I'm
One of the
behind.
coolest characters is Fafnir Rand. He's like the space wolf that accidentally got in the wrong recruitment line, and he's like, why is my armor yellow? Like he's an Imperial Fist. Like he's great, and he's one of the most human written Space Marines that I've seen in terms of, especially as an Imperial Fist. Like they're usually kind of like, yes, and they're very like stiff and proper, or it's they're Templars like Sigismund, and Wan is like really cool and like down to earth, and like it's fun. It's definitely a cool series. It's weird. It's weird going into it. It's like watching the prequel movies for Star Wars. It's like we all know what happens. Like we all know. It's not like, oh man, I sure hope that that Horus doesn't win. And it's like, well, good news, he doesn't. Yeah. But just the way that it's presented is really cool. It's kind of a like a nod to like the craftsmanship of the writers, that they're like, okay, so everybody knows what's going to happen. It's how do we get there? And it's pretty neat. It's pretty cool.
Excellent. I'm just going to say hi to everybody in the chat. Patrick is here. Scott is here. Josh is here. James is here. Matt Bowles is here. Dan Wood as well. Said Lost in the Damned was so good. Saturnine is still the best. Luis is here. There we go. Stop talking about Fafnir Rand before Chris starts yelling his name.
Yeah, our buddy Chris Kemming is a huge Imperial Fist fan. I'm sure he's like screaming Fafnir Rand at the top of his lungs.
No doubt. Oh, there he is.
Matt's on here. Yeah, there he is. You speak his name.
Fantastic.
No, it's really fun though. It is. Yeah, there we go. It is definitely a series that I recommend. And it's less of a hill to climb than like the Horus Heresy.
Right.
Because there's like 56 novels or something in the Horus Heresy. I think I've read like 20 of them.
Yeah.
But this feels much cleaner. They're like, okay, it's going to be this.
Yeah.
I feel like there was definitely a hiccup where they ran into like the End and the Death, which is supposed to be like, I guess that's technically the End and the Death is, I think, books like 6, 7, and 8, which is hilarious. Like it's part 1, part 2, and part 3.
Yeah. It's a bit later. But yeah, no, I think it was like, oh yeah, what are we going to call the last book? Well, we'll call the last book The End and the Death. And what about the book after that? Well, a bit more of The End and the Death. And then like totally ending and killing it this time, guys.
So dead this time.
Yeah, it's like End and the Death part 2, The Enderer, and then End and the Death part 3, the True Death. And you're like, okay, wow, there's a lot of, it seems like the end is pretty long. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. Ben, and I won't give anything away, but Ben, my business partner, who I know Jeff's met, I think Dave's met. But so he is currently going through book 3. He's reading the last one. He's reading End of the Death part 3. And he's like, oh, well, as soon as I'm done with it, I'll get it to you. I was like, dude, I still have like 4 more books to read before I get there. But yeah, thanks. And he was saying that, like, without giving anything away, he's like halfway through the book. And he's like, the Emperor and Horus have been fighting for like the whole first half of the book. And I was like, really? He's like, it's just like, oh my God, it like never ends. I was like, really? He's like, I don't know how exciting you can make 2 guys fighting for half a book. So he's like, maybe the end, he's like, I'm hoping that it kind of turns around. He's like, but it's really verbose. He's like, it's just super heavy. And they just keep like explaining things. And it's Dan Abnett, so it's very well written and descriptive, but it's just, Dan's like, Ben was like, I just don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. He's like, I'll read like 20 pages. And I'm like, yep, they're still fighting. Like, there's no like.
Is it a whole bunch of my name is Horace Lupercal, you are my father, did I
like, again, I haven't gotten that far, so I don't know. But
well, Horace could have some daddy issues he's trying to resolve. So
yeah.
You can't just kill him out. You can't just stab him. He's gonna go talk about it while you're chasing him all over the vengeful spirit. But
there was a really cool theory that before The End of the Death came out, a bunch of us were kicking around, and one of the theories was that they were going to tweak things so that the idea is that, because Sanguinius, as you go through the books, Sanguinius gets like more and more powerful, like as the books go on. Like he is out of all the Primarchs in all of the End of the Death, out of all the Siege of Terra books, he's Superman. He does all the heavy lifting. He slaps the hell out of Angron. He like single-handedly holds the Eternity Gate, like just by himself. He's like, I'll take care of it. He kills like dozens and dozens and dozens of like company captains and like champions. He like just nobody can touch him. He kills 2 Titans like by himself. He's like, I'll take care of it. Like, so it's insane. And when he kills Angron being Angron, Angron's like, oh, I'm going to show you who the real angel is. And he like attacks Sanguinius. So Sanguinius is like fighting him. And he's like, you know what? He's too crazy. I got to let him get closer to me. So Sanguinius lets Angron stab him. And then he grabs him by the elbow and grabs him by his butcher's nails and is like ripping the nails out of Angron's head. And Angron's like, I have made a mistake. And then like Sanguinius like chucks him and he's like, get out of here. And Angron's like, oh, okay, you're the better brother. And he leaves. And you're like, whoa, this is insane. So then when he shows up to fight Horus, the idea is that he's like super like stretched out and angry and like really frustrated. A bunch of his, all of his sons have gotten killed. So one of the fan theories was that Sanguinius loses it and kills Horus. And the Emperor shows up and is like, he has given into like the rage, and Sanguinius is like off the rails. So the Emperor tries to fight him, and the Sanguinius is who injures the Emperor, and the Emperor like basically kills Sanguinius, and then him and Dorn are like, nobody can know about this. No one can know that this is what happened. And that's how the Emperor ends up on the throne. And I was like, that's pretty wild. Like as a Blood Angels fan, like I don't want that to happen, but that would be kind of interesting if that was like how they're going to play it. But
that would be interesting.
That chapter is called Oops.
Yeah. Whoops, Black Rage.
What have I told you?
Sorry, Dad.
Awesome. How about you, John? How about you, Jeff? Are you guys going to playing any games, reading any books, painting any?
I've been playing some Old World lately, with buddies when I can find the time to do it.
Cool.
Yeah, what do you think?
I like it. Yeah, it's really fun. It's it was my favorite game back in the day. So any opportunity to like get rank and file stuff going again is really cool. And then just the community I have here, like a lot of my friends are diehard like fantasy players, and we're way back in the tournament circuit back in the day. So everybody's really excited about it. There's like a real good energy, I think, all around about it. So it's cool.
Are you playing with Eric Hagen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Eric Hagen and Tim Flanders and all those guys. Yeah,
John Stentz. And
I haven't played with John Stentz yet, but yeah, he and Eric just played a game not too long ago. So yeah, it's pretty much on our chat groups. It's just nothing but just rank and flank stuff. So it's cool.
Cool, nice. What are you playing?
I'm dusting off my vampire counts. I got a Beastman army, and I also have a Warriors of Chaos army. So I'm kind of trying to decide what I want to focus on and what I want to like actively update. But right now, I'm just like taking my old collections and just like running them through the game and see what they're like and what they're how they play, because they're all very different from their like 8th edition counterparts for sure.
How do you think the rules kind of match up?
Very similar. There's some cooler additions. I would not say that I am so well versed in the rule set that I can really pick out a lot of the minutia, but there's the way that combat functions is really interesting. The magic phase is totally overhauled and a lot different. And cool. It's like the as opposed to having like a bespoke phase, like depending on the kind of spells that you cast, they kind of happen in their relevant phases. So like the buffs happen at the beginning of the turn, and the shooting stuff happens in the shooting phase, and so on and so forth. So it's cool. It's just really fun to like. I think the list building for fantasy is like the best. Like it's like magic items, and like you're making all these this Chinese menu of all these different things that you can mix and match, and like how you can combine your characters. And I would like make lists for fun. I don't know. Did you guys ever do that? Like, did you like making army lists? Are you the kinds of people that like crunching the numbers and trying to fit everything in there?
Yeah.
For 40K, absolutely. For fantasy, I didn't do it as much, but
yeah. Well, for fantasy, it's just like a whole other level, because like there's so much customization you can do, and especially in Old World now, because you have unit upgrades like drilled and all these other different things that you can give them that give them like other different abilities and things. So you can kind of customize your units more than you used to be able to too.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I saw a post on a group today where I think the person who posted it had probably had never played Warhammer Fantasy Battles back in the day, and probably started 40K maybe around 8th edition.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And basically, yeah, they're like, don't get me wrong, I really love 40k. It's like the best. 10th edition is the best game I've ever played. But making a list for Warhammer: The Old World is just amazing. It's like a little role-playing game, just building the list.
It really is, man. You just have you have all these other just little levers you can pull, and your battle standard bearers have got to matter, and your wizards have to matter, and your hero has to matter because he gives those are the little buffs and stuff, and the abilities they give to their units. That's a whole other level of customization and combo stuff that you can get into. So yeah, I geek out with that stuff, and I'm having a good time.
Awesome stuff. Cool. Jeff?
I haven't had a chance to get any gaming in because I had contracted some kind of respiratory infection. So I have been kind of stuck in my apartment since the night after the Super Bowl. But what I have done is one of the things that excited me about, besides Bretonius coming back, was the army I played in fantasy way back in the day. I also played Chaos Dwarves. And when Forge World at one point in time released a Chaos Dwarf army, and they had rules for it and everything, and I picked up pretty much everything they had. And luckily, they have on the Armies of Legend, the Chaos Dwarves were there.
Yep.
And they literally took all, because there's a bunch of troop types in the Forge World army that were never available in the original GW army. Mm-hmm. And they literally took the Forge World list and just put it into into the Old World. So I spent this week not being able to play, pulling out all my Chaos Dwarves that are about half painted and making little units and. Ooh, look what I have! All this cool. I've got the whole. They've got a War Machine train.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen the models, but they all hook up on cars like a big train, and you can just pull it along.
I think it's brutal too. It's very good.
Yeah.
Well, at least it was. I don't know what it does now, but it was back.
Oh, it's huge. I've got the Earthshaker cannon, their gigantic cannon, which literally affects movement if it hits. Is like. I'm a good 9 inches long, and it's got the platform and the cannon turns. There's a large ogre on it for loading. It's got a crane that gets the rounds up into it. It's a gorgeous model. But yeah, but every one of the war machines is on a little train car, and they connect to each other. And they've got fire elementals, and the bull centaurs are now the size of ogres.
Right.
As a matter of fact, they dwarf ogres actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're on like a 75 mil base. I spent this week pulling those out when I wasn't painting and putting together armies and looking at what their stats are and kind of getting excited to play my Chaos Dwarves again.
That's cool.
Nice.
I imagine Jeff has like a room in his house that's like, the room where they put the Ark of the Covenant, and he's just like looking for his like Chaos Dwarves that are back there somewhere. And, like a box that's labeled top secret.
Mike, you remember when they did the prototype hardcover GW cases in the red?
Yeah.
And all the execs would walk around with these really cool red cases, and you didn't know where they came from. I have John Matthews's red one, large army case. And I threw my Chaos Dwarves in that because I could never get anybody to play the Forge World version. So when I saw the Armies of Legend for Old World, I went, they got to have Chaos Dwarves. And sure enough, they did. And then when they matched exactly the same troop types that Forge World had made. So every model Forge World made for it is available in that list. I'm like, I'm in heaven. This is awesome.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Nice. The only thing I have to find now are Hobgoblin Wolf Riders, which are just the best.
Right.
Fast cab that skirmishes. Can't beat that.
That's cool. Excellent. Sean has joined us. Hello, Sean. Matt Bowles says multi-pose minis and customized army lists. It's everything I came to the hobby for. And he also remembers the red cases.
I have a bunch of those downstairs. I still have all of those old hard plastic GW cases.
Yeah, the piston
never
case.
moved over to any other system just because they were, when I worked for GW, they were really cheap. So yeah, I amassed many of them and I still have them all.
Yeah, I got rid of a bunch of mine, but I still have, like 3 or 4 of the pistol cases, and I have I had one of the suitcase size. I had a green one, and I think I gave that to Adam or something, but.
No,
the Battlefilm stuff. I just think that they've just done such a good job of taking care of like the big models and tanks and stuff. That was the only problem with every GW case they've ever made. They're just not practical for transporting. Like it's like, oh, are you playing a bunch of custodes? Cool. Are you playing an all Space Marine infantry army? Awesome. are you not doing one of those two things? Well, good luck. Can't
Yeah.
trace one of your army is. Like,
You have to do this weird like Frankensteining of cutting through the foam layers to make like double stacks so you can have bigger models, and then that is only for that army ever. Like
and you can never use that case again because now you've destroyed the 3 ice cube trays, so you can't. I just
I feel your pain.
I got excited about Old World when I saw the templates and the scatter dice. And a buddy of mine who hadn't picked it up yet, he and I were chatting. And I said, yeah, I picked it up today. And I said, the minute I saw the templates and the scatter dice, I went, let the arguments begin as to who's actually under the template and what direction that arrow is actually pointing.
That's my favorite one, I think.
Classic.
Love it.
I play a lot of Necromunda, so that's never left for me.
Some guy came in the other day. Some guy came in the other day and was like, hey, do you guys sell scatter die? And I was like, what year is this? Like, what is happening? I was like, no, we don't. He's like, really? I was like, yeah, they come in the Warhammer like old world box sets, but like they don't sell them. I mean, I'm sure they will at some point, but I was like, yeah, I don't have any scatter die, dude.
They stopped putting them in the bricks because they used to, like, those little square bricks that came in like the D6 shaped cases. That one of those dice was really the scatter dice, and one I can't remember if there's an artillery dice in there too, but they used to sell all those together. But not so easy to come by.
I still have a habit when I fire an assault cannon in 40K, I'm looking for my sustained fire dice.
Oh my goodness.
Like, where are my red dice that if they all roll jams, like, wait a minute, that's way back.
Nice. Excellent. Okay, we're going to jump in to a little bit of news. Some stuff we're going to cover there. So just quickly, I saw that Lee has joined us. Hi, Lee. And Josh says there are still dice makers that have scatter dice. So you just got to track them down.
There's still hundreds of thousands of them kicking around. It's not like they went away. You just got to find them.
Yeah. They're probably you can probably check out the Baron of Dice.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And some other folks. But first up, we make sure I'm going to put a slide at the beginning of every news segment so that we can remember that to thank the Army Painter for sponsoring us. Army Painter, our season sponsor, second season now, which is great. So Tyler Mengel is a fantastic painter out of Texas who is working for the Army Painter now, and he's going to be blogging on a regular basis. Just the latest blog post that went up is about matching color schemes, doing that kind of thing. So definitely head along to the Army Painter website, which is linked below, and check out their fantastic hobby blog.
I remember when the ogres came out in a battalion box back in the day.
Yeah.
They were like Ogre Kingdoms.
Yeah. They were awesome. I have so many ogres.
Yeah, you do have a lot of ogres, Dave.
Yeah. That was the only thing is that they're all ogres now because they're all on round bases.
Oh, do you transfer them all over? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the terrible old box? It was a metal box, and it's before the ogres came out in plastic. I think it was like, oh man, it was like Goldfag's ogres.
Goldfag's mercenary.
Oh, yeah. I hated that box.
Excellent. Cool. So next up,
I took over a store where the manager got let go, and I was going through his, like, back when we used to order, like, blisters, like the clamshell blisters, and I was like going through his overstock, and I was like, why does he have 8 Goldfag's ogres? Like, you're never gonna sell these. Like, why are they here? But he ordered them.
Yeah. People do crazy things.
It's true.
Cool. So one thing that I did over the weekend was I was at Games and Stuff, my friendly local game store, helping with their grand opening event, which at their new location. I was helping with the paint and take. You can see all lined up and ready to go there. They opened at 10, and when they opened at 10, they had they're all prepared with like little gift baggies for the first 100 people. And apparently to get everybody that was in line before the store opened, through the door, it was 15 minutes of people filing through.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
but how many times did you and Jeff Hall get back in line so you could get another bag?
Only twice. No, just kidding. Actually, when I showed up, I arrived at like 9 to go in and get everything set up. There were the people who were first in line had brought their own folding chairs and a folding table, and they were learning to play Doomlings, which is a card game. Just sitting out there. They've been out there for hours. I think they arrived at like 5 in the morning or something like that. So absolutely crazy. But they had a whole bunch of different game publishers there. Sort of, you see these tables around the room where the publishers were set up. They had, I think it's Elizabeth Hargrave who designed Wingspan.
And now she's doing Wormspan as her new one.
Yep. So I had her there. So there were lots of copies of Wingspan were sold and signed on the day. But it was absolutely huge. Let me so that's seeing people coming through the door. And so it's Baltimore. Somebody's wearing an Orioles jacket. And there we go. There's the paint and take table. And you can actually see our very own Matt Bowles.
Yeah, see him right there.
Right there.
Look at him.
Look at him there. So yeah, Matt came in to check out the War Paints Fanatic paints. So we had the War Paints Fanatic paints and we had the Pro Acryl paints on the table.
Cool. I've heard really good stuff about the Fanatic stuff. I haven't had a chance to try it yet, but it's on my list.
It's pretty rad. I'm actually supposed to be emailing Kat at some point this week. I gotta get some stuff. Ben and I are gonna do a kind of the same thing. We're gonna do a Fanatic paint and take at the store to get people excited about the new range. The way that they're dropping it is really weird. So I think the complete set and the mega set come out in the next like 3 or 4 weeks or whatever. And then after that, the following month, it's going to be like the rest of the sets. And then they're going to release like the individual pots.
Yep. Cool. Yep. Sorry, just in the chat. Hi to Mick. Mick Palazzi, good morning from Australia.
What's going on?
Just said he was thinking of doing a Shrek-style ogre army, but then he realized he already had a greenskin army. Matt Paul says, I know that table. Exactly. He said there was about 300 to 500 folks there at opening, which is amazing.
Dang.
From Flomo, hello guys. On my way to the store to get the last of my basing material for my Space Wolves for Adepticon. It's not snow. That's terrible, considering you're also living in Canada, Jonathan. Hope it goes well. Carl, I'm assuming it's Carl is here. The independent characters, or it might be Josh. Fanatic paints are awesome. Really loving them so far. And yeah, War Paints racks coming in April, says Matt.
Yeah, so it's the first 2 sets are in March, and then everything else comes out in April.
Cool. But yeah, it was a huge day. A lot of fun. A lot of people painting their first minis. Only a small handful of people painting their 100th mini. But yep, definitely cool. And one other piece of news that I've got is that the Art of volumes 7, 8, and 9 are currently all being packed up and shipped out. I think for the US and Canada, they have all been delivered to either the post office or FedEx.
Nice.
And in the UK at ShipQuest Hub, I think today there was a big pickup for Europe and rest of the world. And I think tomorrow and Thursday will be pickups for the UK backers. So all of those are going out to loads of folks. And also yesterday I dropped the PDFs. So if people had purchased the PDF version of the books, they have those now. So super exciting. This is a huge weight off my mind, which is really nice.
That's awesome, man.
But definitely cool. So big thank you to Ironheart Artisans. That's Alex Landing and his wife, Beth, and to the folks at ShipQuest for doing that all. Cool. That's good. And next up, well, actually, I'm just going to go back for a sec. There we go. Back to that. Would anybody like to know who we've got for next year? Oh, for the next set of books.
I would like to know. Yeah, sure.
I thought you told us one of them the other day.
Did I tell you one of them? Okay. Well, so for the next set of books, we have Roman Lepat, Sam Lenz.
Cool.
Yeah, you told me Sam Lenz. That was the one.
I told you, Sam. And Joshua Lai.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So next week in the show notes, I'll pop up links to all that stuff. But I am super excited.
That's cool.
That's pretty good.
For volumes 10, 11, and 12. Okay. Sorry. Scott says, oh, Jeff, I ordered one of those game envy lamps you were talking about on the weekend. See how this works. Fantastic. I forgot to turn mine off. It's still
he dropped in over mine and Mike's hobby-a-thon this weekend, and I was talking to Mike about it.
Awesome.
He was going to give it a try, so I'm glad. It's a good light. It's a good lamp.
You will love it. Scott says, congrats, Dave, on getting the fulfillment done. I got my notification. Awesome. Jonathan, yeah, the light umbra or dark golden brown in the Pro Acron. Excellent. Don't know the last one. Looking forward to the new volumes. You can count on me, Dave. Fantastic. Thanks very much, Scott. I look forward to that, to counting on you. Back to this. Let me work out how I can move it along. There we go. Hot tips for this week.
It's a nice looking dreadnought.
It is an awesome looking dreadnought. So Meta's Miniatures on Instagram and 28 Mag on Instagram. So Meta's Miniatures is Robert Medall, I think. I think he's from the UK, but he is going to be coming out to Adepticon, and he's also going to be heading out to a couple of places around the US doing some vehicle weathering classes, and does spectacular vehicle weathering stuff. But he also has a YouTube channel, and his latest video up there is painting this Raven Guard dreadnought. Which
There's a lot of tactical grass on there.
There is a lot of tactical grass for sure. We'll see some of that, a bit more of that a little bit later. But yeah, definitely awesome stuff. I highly recommend going and checking out Meta's Miniatures account. And also 28 Mag. Have we talked about 28 Mag before?
I don't think so.
Not sure. So 28 Mag is basically a bunch of the folks who are very active in the sort of the Inc. 28 community. So the Inquisitor 28 community, like the Weir brothers from Between the Bolter and Me, Alex Winberg, James Sheriff, a whole bunch of other folks have been putting together like an independent fanzine, PDF only, over the last few years. Volume 6 is about to drop. Each of the magazines is about 120 odd pages long, so really good, solid amounts of content in there. Got lots of great stuff.
Rule content or hobby content? Like, is it a bit of everything?
It's primarily yes, it's sort of stories, it's gaming ideas, hobby ideas, hobby tutorials, all that kind of thing. There's a whole range.
I always liked Inquisitor. Inquisitor was such a cool game.
Yeah.
It is cool. Yeah. I liked it too. I think that the scale was the thing that kind of held it back for a lot of people.
I think the funniest thing about the scale is remember all the early GW terrain kits? They were all Inquisitor scale. If you look at the original scale, that's why all the doors were huge and like the windows, like your Space Marines, the windows came up to here on the Space Marines. It's because they were Inquisitor scale, but they had spent all this time and money like designing them that they were like, well, we'll just print them. But like
those models would have been available in plastic during that period of time, and it probably done a lot better.
Yeah, I agree. If the Inquisitor models had been plastic, I think that game would have been incredible.
Artemis weighed like 2 pounds by himself.
Yeah.
He was like the hell cannon. He
Yeah.
was like the hell, same way as the
It
hell
was
cannon.
huge.
Yeah.
You just put all those bits in a sock and swing it.
Oh, yeah.
And because he was leaning, I remember we built one for a kid, and I like went to Home Depot and bought a bunch of like really thick washers and super glued washers to the bottom of the base so it would like stay down because he just wanted to tip over all the time. He was so front heavy. He's like running.
Mhm. It's like running forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have two of that model. I'm literally cutting it apart because I bought I'm doing a diorama of a Space Wolf on Thunderwolf Cav versus an Orc Boar Rider, and it's all in Inquisitor scale. And I've got two of Artemis, and I'm cutting him apart so I can actually mount him on this wolf. And it's like, why can't you be in plastic? It would be so much easier if you were just in plastic.
Yeah, I think I still own 2 or 3 Inquisitor models. I have the female Inquisitor has like the braids.
Yep.
I have her. I have the Eldar Sniper. And I have I think Covenant. He's the Inquisitor with the sight cannon on his shoulder.
Yeah. He's the one I'm actually looking for.
I think if I can find him, John, like let's work something out.
Well,
He's
Rob,
around
I
here
think
somewhere.
Yeah,
Rob-
Matt said he had some too. So yeah, if anybody has one of those, I'd trade for one.
Rob Villeneuve just got a whole bunch from a mutual friend of ours that he's planning on eBaying off. I mean, a ton. So I'll let you know when he's got a list put together and have him give that to me. So I can give it to you guys, or you guys contact him directly. He's got a ton. He's going to eBay.
Let us know. And Jeff, maybe you can work out a deal with Rob so we can just buy him from you.
We'll figure it out.
Because Rob likes you. So
I would.
no, my buddy
maybe,
Dave,
I don't
my
know.
buddy Dave's in the same boat. My buddy Dave I think is missing 2.
Right.
He's trying to get them all. So I know a bunch of guys that just run Inquisitor at 28 mil. They've like built all the models. They just run at 28 mil. I was like, great. I never understood why they just didn't do that. I feel like it would have been, they would have just sold so much more stuff without having to make a whole new line. But
Yeah.
I think it was just an opportunity to try things at a different scale, try things a little bit differently, but it didn't work out for them. But yeah. Excellent. Okay, but definitely check these two out. The links are in the notes below. And while you're looking in that area, there's also a like button just below the screen, just below our lovely faces here. Just click that as well. Click that.
yeah,
like.
everybody who's on here, please click the like. We last week we had like 30 something people watching the stream, and the stream had like 9 likes. And I was like, wait, what happened?
Maybe not everybody liked it. They should.
Apparently not.
Should like it. Excellent. Okay, cool thing. Close that, and I will move to this one, but I've got to. Oh, there we go. Just prepping the next one. So, guys, do you think we're ready to jump in and talk about the Tale of 4 Warlords? That's a yes. Yes.
Ready.
Okay, let me get that ready.
The 4-armed Emperor gives it 4 thumbs up.
4 thumbs up. Nice. Excellent. Oh, sorry, just quickly, Matt Ball says, I have a couple of units of Imperial Guard in Inquisitor scale in parts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think I remember there was a White Dwarf, either article or a White Dwarf photo that had somebody, I might have been like Fred Reed, had scratch built a Chimera in Inquisitor scale.
I do remember that.
Yeah. Which is amazing. I was big into converting a lot of Inquisitor models when they came out, and I was also doing a Tanith squad.
Of course you were.
Of course, yeah, exactly. Of course I was, and had them in my case. I was catching the train to work. Brought the train to one station. Had to get out, go and sit down on another platform, wait for the next train to come by. Put my case down. Train came by. Got up. Got on the train.
Ooh, that hurts.
Like 2 stops later, realized I didn't have my case with me. Jumped off at the next stop. Caught the train back, and of course, it was gone. So that really killed
And
them.
I'm sure somebody went, this is probably full of like really cool computer parts. And they were like, what the hell is
Oh,
this?
no.
Oh yeah.
And I bet they were like, I can't even play Warhammer with this stuff.
Probably Probably.
Probably.
I actually have an Inquisitor model right here. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Like a Beast Man. Look at that crazy dude.
Oh.
The weird Beast Man conversion I did.
Nice.
Excellent.
It's like Gorth. It was he's like a regular Warhammer scaled guy, but his head was so big it actually looks okay on this. It's pretty funny. It's weird.
Awesome. Excellent. Jonathan Palomo said last week I liked it, but I didn't like it. Tonight I liked it for you.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
So yes, please like it, everybody.
I want an Inquisitor scale Furioso Dreadnought.
That would be nice.
It would be like
Your
this
Paralogue.
big. It'd be like a warlord. It'd be like a warhound. It'd be like a warhound is what it would be.
That would be awesome. Okay. First up, we're going to mention our Warlord sponsor.
Nice.
Armored Wolf. So I had to send up a message to Trevor and said, hey, can you send through some work in progress shots? So this is a work in progress shot of a bag that he's working on at the moment. Not for us, obviously, because none of us are doing orcs, but it is pretty cool.
That is rad.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
Just like I like that all the like actual like hand like applied details there, like the
Yep.
weathering around the grommets and stuff is all regular, and yeah, it looks really cool.
He does such a good job. Like the leather on the right that's like the rusty piece with the teeth on it. Like it looks like you're gonna cut yourself and get tetanus, and it's just leather, but it looks like metal.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, that bit might be metal. I don't know. But no, it is super cool. He also sent through this one.
Nice.
This is a very cool chaos bag that's being worked on. That is actually a metal chaos star.
Oh wow, really?
Yep. It's been cut out.
Real blood on there too, I assume.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I would assume that he cut himself on that star. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like all the old metal chaos models. Like you actually like offered blood to the blood guy every time you moved something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. But they look great. And then he sent me these pics.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
So first stages going in.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Did you send him what kind of file did you send him? Just like just random images and things, or like what does he prefer? Do you know?
I didn't send him anything.
I haven't sent him anything.
We sent him photos of the what you were working on miniature wise. And I sort of described mine, and I said I found it as a STL file. I'll when I get to my computer that has the STL file on it, I'll send it to you. But like 5 minutes later, he said, "Do you mean this one?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's the one." So that was good. But yeah, he did also mention that John, you need to get in touch with him.
Okay, I will.
We'll get that sorted. But yeah, so very excited. Hopefully, we might have a couple of them at Adepticon, which would be very nice.
Very cool.
Those are
Very
super
nice
cool.
indeed.
I was hoping we would all have them at Adepticon, so when we play, we have all of our dice bags that match. I was like, that's rad.
But looking good there. So thanks very much, Trevor. We're excited. First up, we have Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff, your Terminator squad.
My Wolfspear Terminators. They didn't come out too bad. They're a little bit of heraldry on all of them on the Power Fist. Changed up my color, the way I handled the colors a little bit, just to kind of lighten them up in some areas. So but yeah, they didn't come out too bad. I was pretty happy with it.
Dude, they look fantastic.
Yeah, they're really cool.
I've said before that the new Terminators, I think the coolest thing about them is like the absolute monstrous amount of space you get to play with on the Power Fist. It's so big. You're like, I can do so much cool freehand on this. Like there's so much real estate to work with on that.
Yeah, I haven't added. There's some stuff from Grey Tide that I haven't got yet that I'm going to be added. Like I got a bunch of their Terminator capes.
Right.
And some other Space Wolf stuff that I'll be adding to them. I just didn't have it, but I want to get them knocked out to that level at least. And then putting the heraldry, each one of them being a wolf guard has their own personal heraldry. So each power fist is different, so it matches up to that particular one. So I haven't actually had a chance to go through and name them yet, but I eventually will. So
They look great.
Yeah, very cool.
The little gold like knotwork by the Crux Terminatus. Did you freehand that, or is that a transfer?
no, I have the Horus Heresy's decal sheet from GW.
Okay.
And they have this decal, and what I did was I took the gold one and I split it in half, and then with microsol I applied it on either side of the Crux Terminatus.
Okay.
And it fit perfectly, so I thought, oh, it's kind of destined at this point.
Yeah, they look great, man. They look fantastic.
I managed to get it the microsol, let it kind of adhere down around the whole decal. Then once it dried, I literally took a brand new X-Acto and kind of shaved it, and then peeled all this stuff off the Crux Terminatus. So just the hardest part was getting them spaced out where it looked like it was equal on both sides.
Yeah, they look great.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of microsol and microset, we will actually be carrying that in my store. I didn't realize that you could get it as a retailer, so I reached out to the owner. She is super nice, and she's like, "Yeah, like let me send you some stuff." And I was like, "Cool." So we'll have all of their stuff. But
when I traveled,
microset is so good.
When I traveled for GW, I couldn't find microsol and microset anywhere where I lived and around the Baltimore area.
Yeah.
So anytime I traveled for workshop, I'd always stop at a local hobby shop. And every time I found microsol and microset, I'd buy a bottle of each. And now I have like a dozen of each one.
Nice. It's awesome. It's awesome stuff. And I'm with you. 9 times out of 10, the only stuff that most of us can get is either the stuff from like AK or the stuff from Green Stuff World. And I'm like, I'm all set. Microsoft,
those ones?
Yeah, that's them. Yeah. And they're a US based company. Everything is made here in the States too, which is cool.
I've used it for years. It's fantastic stuff for decals.
It is the best. It is the best stuff out there for transfers.
What else do they make? Micro Scale Industries. Do they make?
They make Micro Mask, which is a big one. It's difficult to use on acrylics because it can pull the acrylic back up. That's the only other one I know is their Micro Mask.
Is that like a
brush on liquid mask?
Okay.
They make those. They make it's called like Micro Crystal or Micro Clear, and it allows you to like make windows. So like you can paint it onto a frame and let it set, and then make successive layers, and then you can like peel it off, and it's like transparent. So you can like make your own windows and stuff. They also have like the microsol and microset equivalent for like aluminum transfers. Like on like model trains and stuff, there's like metal. They're like almost like aluminum, like tiny little like think like gold foil, like little bits of like
not brass edge, but something more flexible,
but way thinner.
Okay.
So they make the microsol microset version for metallic transfers, I guess. And then they make almost like a clear coat you can paint on by hand. And they make one other thing. It's like 8, but they're all the same bottles. Okay. It's like a green label or a purple label or whatever. But
I'll check out the website. Yeah, it sounds cool. I use that stuff all the time.
They're real cost effective as well. So
just quickly, it sounds like we've got a little bit of a burble going on in the background. So I'm not sure if somebody's microphone's too close to their speakers or.
I'll try it. Let's see if it's me.
So let's see if it's is it John? Do
you still hear it?
No, I don't.
No.
It might be John.
It is. It's John. It's the beard. It's the beard.
Well, because of the last show I was on, I actually moved my microphone from the table. I have a mount that's up here in the corner.
Okay.
Getting away from my speakers.
Cool.
Dude, they look great.
Yeah, but each Power Fist is a little different, and going by the artwork in White Dwarf, they're all kind of like in a geometric pattern of some sort.
Yep.
I tried to stick with that, and
yeah,
that was awesome.
And now on his Power Fist, it actually has my last remaining decal that I used for the Terminator Crux shoulder pad.
Yeah.
So it's on the whole. That one it matches what's on his shoulder, but it's on the whole pad. So the whole decal's intact on that pad.
That's rad.
Excellent.
Not looking too bad. The hardest part about all of them was getting them to mount them on those Dragon Forge slate bases.
Right.
Okay? They're not designed for just big Terminators standing just squarely on their 2 feet. So I had to do some modification to get them to sit properly.
Yeah.
And a lot of pinning.
But no, they look really good.
Yeah, come on. I wanted to get my Inceptors done as well, but I didn't get a chance to get those all knocked out. So
Right.
John's had it. John's like, I'm out of here.
I was done. They don't like my microphone. I'm leaving.
Yes, come back.
Oh,
Oh,
he's in earphones. He's gonna switch over.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah. The Dragon Forge is fantastic. These bases all have spent ammo on the bases and stuff like that. So.
Yep.
You'll find little, little
there
used
we go.
shell casings.
Right by his foot. Yeah,
I thought this one was great. It's like, really, he's got that assault cannon, and it's just the one.
He should be buried in brass.
Yep. But looking good there. Very cool. And so yeah, you mentioned your Inceptors. So
These are my 3 Inceptors on the what I'm calling tactical grass, because everyone seems to like my tactical rocks. So, and I just don't like those plastic stands they come on. They never stay, and they're a pain. So I've basically ran a pin through the. I modified the bases so I could put the grass on them. Ran the pin through the grass, and then just basically drilled a hole in 1 foot. So.
Yeah.
The only problem with them on the brass rod while I'm painting them is they have a tendency to shake.
Yeah, they wobble.
Yeah, they wobble a bit when you're trying to paint them. So.
Yeah.
They're cool though. Yeah, and the Inceptors are awesome. I always thought they were really cool models. I see you swapped out their heads. You gave them gave them different helmets.
No, that's the helmets they came with.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't swapped out the heads at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's basically.
I haven't glued the shoulder pads, the backpack on them yet. But yeah, those are all the original heads.
Nice.
I actually had a hard time getting I love Space Wolves lot helmets just because.
Yeah.
But getting a normal unhelmeted head in there, it just didn't look right. It just looked weird. So I just left the.
There's so much space around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the one that comes in those are the ones from the box. I do like the one that has the blast shield down.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the idea is that they're like orbital insertion troops, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That was my test model. I tried to crank out to get to Dave by last night, but between the weekend of nothing but painting and the respiratory infection I'm dealing with, I was just tired. I just said I'm not going to rush it.
It's all good, man. They look great.
And
they're cool. I like the hazard stripes a lot. They're very cool.
Yeah.
I have a thing about large flat surfaces. Filling them with something. Normally, though, on Space Wolves, like on my Inceptors for my regular wolves, they have pack markings on them. So if the standard, red and black triangle shapes, they go around that portion of the jump pack. I didn't want to do that with the wolf spear because they're wolves, but they have a different culture now. And I'm sure somewhere in that Mars has a name for black and yellow stripes, like the icons of safety or the lineage of caution or something. Just don't step in front of this or you will fry.
Awesome.
So all 3 of them have that same marking that those hazard stripes on the jump packs themselves.
As an Iron Warriors player who has done many a caution stripe, these look fantastic. You have done a great job.
We used to joke back in the day, back when I first started playing, and White Dwarf was the magazine you waited for. Looked at all the artwork, and you'd see these Space Marines with chain swords that had caution stripes on them. We're like, is that for the guy wielding it, or is that warning the guys attacking that this has pointy parts?
It's letting everyone know that it's dangerous.
Yep. It's for the chapter serfs afterwards.
Yeah, the servitors,
Well, if you look at modern science fiction, like you watch any Star Wars movie, you're like, doesn't OSHA exist? Is there no handrails in this universe?
No.
In the grim darkness of the far future, OSHA does not exist.
Yeah, but you got 40K now that caution stripes everything. Just don't go near that; it could hurt you.
Actually, now that I think about it, OSHA probably is a thing. It's probably just like one of the many zillion levels of the administratum. Like they're like, and then OSHA showed up, and they had like shock malls and like stun grenades.
Yep.
Because I always I try to rationalize while I'm and second of all, getting those stripes to actually look balanced because I'm a symmetry guy. If it's out of symmetry, it triggers my OCD. And the first one I did, the stripes, when you looked at it head on, the stripes were like not in sync, and it made me crazy. So getting those stripes masked out and airbrushed and all that stuff took a while. So like I did one twice, and it's like, nope, that's not right. That's gonna make me crazy. I won't be able to play the game. I got this guy's got just kill this guy real quick for me.
Did you have to cut the strips for the tape like custom, or did you have like
I used the Tamiya. This is the Tamiya 2 mil, and I had to basically put each one of them down, and then I cut them off there at the seam, and then peel every other one off. If you look under the foils, or whatever those little fins are that come off the back, there's a really wide stripe because I didn't pre-measure it. I said I'm just going to go until I run out of room. Right. So the last black stripe is like 1.5 of these other stripes.
Hey, as long as it matches,
you have to physically pick the model up and look at it from this angle up from the bottom because you won't be able to tell it any other way. So,
but you can prevent that because if someone goes to touch you, be like, "Hey, kid, don't touch my models."
Me. Well, I figured it's not going to be kids. It's going to be Jake. Put that down.
Yeah. You can have the cool sign like it's been 10,426 years since heresy, and then OSHA has to like, oh, so you had to tear it down again.
Yeah, not right. Get that right.
It has been 0 days since the last incident.
Yeah.
It's got caution stripes on the jump pack and bright red plasma cannons. Like, okay, these won't hurt you. It's the back stuff. Watch the stuff on the back. That's bad. But these guys, they're toy guns. Don't worry about it.
You're good. Nah, they look great. They look great.
I'm pretty. I only have to do 1.3 models a day to make my March 18th deadline.
Awesome.
Because on March 19th, I'm in a 26-foot panel truck heading to Chicago.
Excellent. So that means that I have to have my stuff up there like March 17th, yeah?
Yeah. We're leaving on Tuesday, March 19th is when I'm driving the truck. So yeah, I have to have it in my hands by at least by the Monday.
Right, yeah. So it'll probably be Sunday. I'll bring them up on the Sunday.
Yeah,
I have until the 19th to get stuff painted.
Yeah, I still have 30 with the Inceptors. I have 31 models left to paint in like 29 days. So
you can do it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'll be in the hotel room the night before. just like the 97 Grand Tournament. I'm painting up peasants. Leave me alone. I got a game tomorrow.
Awesome. John, you have decidedly fewer models to paint.
I do not have nearly as many. Speaking of which, are we doing? So this list is 2,000 points. Is that what we're going to try to play?
Yeah.
At the Adepticon? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Excellent.
So
yeah, I had a productive weekend of airbrushing a lot of giant robots, and it was very enjoyable.
Awesome.
So I'm glad it's done. A big part of that was like doing all of these. I have all these little strips of all the parts and stuff for all the little armatures. So all that stuff's done, and now I'm picking out like all the trim and all the little details and stuff. So
yeah, I put your finish. I probably should have put your finished guys last, but I put them up front.
Oh yeah, that's fine. So these are the ones that are the most far along. So that's like the main. I can't remember which pattern it is, but it's the real shooty one, obviously.
That's Crusader.
Crusader, that's the one. Yep, and his two little buddies are the two Armature Hellburns.
Yep,
they're bonded to him, I guess. So yeah, I wanted to finish them first, and just figured out the color scheme. That's just what took the most time. Like once I had that figured out, like airbrushing all the rest of the stuff and just going through will be really, really straightforward.
And you said you're using the Tiger Eyes. The Legio Furians?
Yeah, Legio Furians. There is a Knight household that's associated with them, and normally their scheme is kind of a reverse of theirs, so it's like black with yellow flames. I just don't really like the hot rod look of those guys, but I really like the transfer sheet they have, and just like I wanted to paint Yellow Knights, so I decided to kind of like modify it a little bit. So it's largely based on that, but I'm going to use these guys in both 30K and 40K.
They look awesome.
Well,
and I can't remember the name of the household, but yeah, there's one Knight household that's affiliated with them.
I have two things to say. There are no caution stripes, but these will do. And also, there's a portion of my Inceptors that actually I painted with you in mind, John.
Oh,
If you look at the caution stripes on the back, around the edges of the yellow, I actually put in a little fade of orange, going, this is my tribute to John. Just a little bit of orange around the yellow.
there it is. Nothing like an orange fade, man. Nothing like
They
it.
look fantastic, man. They really, really do. But yeah, I was going, oh, I have to put orange fade on these now because John's done his and they're gorgeous. So I have to compete. I have to stand up to that.
Mm.
My vain thought of equalness.
Dude, that helmet's awesome.
Oh, they look great.
Yeah, he's a cool one. It's a 3D printed thing. I just found it online. Some guy, I can't remember exactly who it was off the top of my head, but I think he made a couple different ones. I got it off of Colts 3D.
Right.
And yeah, I really like it. I think it's cool. It's I don't know, I mentioned before, but like thematically, I'm trying to make the 3 Questoris all be 3 Cyclops because like the whole army is kind of like loosely. I want to base each of the knights around a monster from Greek mythology, and the 3 big guys, I wanted them all to be Cyclops, like the 3 Cyclops that made the lightning bolt for Zeus in mythology. So yeah, that's kind of the thing there. So the 3 guys just have one big central eye on each of them.
Yep.
So obviously, I'm going to name the captain of my flesh eaters Odysseus, since he's the one Greek hero that outsmarts and defeats the Cyclopses.
I know.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at with that. And I had some caution stripes. There you go, Jeff. I did a little bit.
I was like, okay, cool. These were the
Did you cut and repose
red and black?
Did you cut and repose his left foot so the toes are bent?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like kind of collapsing down a little bit. Yeah,
I appreciate your attention to detail. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it looks cool that way. Otherwise, it just looks kind of strange when you have this big flat foot like flying behind him. So I thought it looked a little bit more realistic that way.
That's an errant, I believe, because it's got the Melta.
Yeah, he's like the assault guy, so he's going to go with the 2 Warglaves, and
nice. And then
because they have like some run and shoot stuff, or I don't know exactly what they do. Who knows? I don't know. I have no idea how to play this army. We're going to see how it goes.
And then that's a paladin. That's like the standard.
Yeah, he's the kind of like the base guy. And he will be the leader.
Did they change the way that like the thunder gauntlet works versus the chainsword?
I feel like it's just strictly better.
Okay.
Like
I haven't played Knight since like it's 7th or 8th or whatever.
Yeah. I think it looks way cooler. I don't really like the chainsword arm. It just doesn't feel, I don't know. It feels bolted on. It doesn't really feel like very well integrated to me. And I just like the look of the power fist. But I think like by the rules, it just seemed like it was better to me. There might have been like an extra rule, like maybe you get 1 extra attack with the other one, but the gauntlet has like a higher strength, I think.
Right.
It used to be bananas back in the day. So the Thunderstrike Gauntlet had that thing where you could like pick up and throw stuff.
Yeah.
So like you could throw a rhino, and I was like, that's insane.
I don't think it has that crazy rule.
No. They got rid of it. They haven't done that in like 2 or 3 editions. But
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And John, are the bases from Dragonforge?
No, those are all 3D printed as well. So that's a combination of a flagstone 3D print and a bunch of Greek columns, which are also 3D prints. And I just kind of cobbled those together and mashed them together and put some putty around there and filled it in. And that's essentially what I'm using for those.
Yeah, looking great.
Well, thank you. It's super fun to work on. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a really long time, and I'm glad I'm getting it done.
I'm just going to echo Dan Wood as well. Really like that battle cannon kit bash. I think we've said that before, but
the muzzle break makes it look way more dangerous.
Yeah, I think so too. It's something. It just seemed real simple. Like everything else is so ornate on the knights, and then the battle cannon, the stock one, it's essentially just a big tube. So I thought
he looks like a little kid holding a wrapping paper tube. When we were kids, you'd walk around pretend you had like a gun arm.
Yeah. Little lightsaber.
Yeah, you're like, why does that guy?
See if I had one of those little bits, but so yeah, it was a big part of this whole army is just like messing around with 3D printing and just some techniques that I want to practice primarily. So it's like 3D printing stuff, oil washes, a lot of airbrushing, some masks.
Yeah,
fun so far.
Very impressive,
dude. Dealing with your army is going to be a nightmare.
I don't know. They're pretty tough. They're real slow though. So it's like objective control games, or I don't know what I'm going to do there. Like they have like kind of a few things that most people that play knights like in a semi-competitive setting will always take a bunch of like little chump dudes, or they'll take a ton of armigers and they'll take like a bunch of like either police or like inquisitorial retinues, just like little guys to stand on objectives in the backfield and do things, because you just, I mean, I have 7 models at 2,000 points. So it's, if there's 6 objectives on the table, it's going to be kind of hard, you know?
You have to spread out. But what you don't want to do is spread out. You want to concentrate your firepower, right? So
yeah, largely. And then like also the mechanics for them, they have this bondsman ability where like your big knights bestow abilities to little knights. And there's like you can only do that within a certain range. So you kind of have to keep them nearby. But they have like a couple of cool upgrades. Like there's one where I think it's a banner or something, but it pretty much just turns objectives into sticky objectives. So like once you claim it with this character, it'll stay in your control and you can leave it, which is very cool. So I took that upgrade with one of them. There's another one that just lets you deep strike a knight, which is pretty crazy, which will help to get other objectives and stuff. So yeah, I'll mess around with those rules and see what works. But I'll also paint a bunch of other infantry and little stuff down the road. I definitely want to paint some assassins for the army and just some like lesser units to like take objectives and things if I want to play it in a competitive setting at some point, which I probably wouldn't, but who knows?
Can they still ally with like Mechanicus? Like, can you take Scutari with them and stuff?
Maybe. I think by and large, most of the allies that they have are they're Imperial agents, I believe.
Okay.
right.
So they're kind of limited. Here, I can bring up the list here and I can tell you for sure.
But and that's only for official stuff.
Yeah.
Oh
When
yeah.
Playing with friends, like I would totally let you have run Mechanicus.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it looks like Titan Legions and Imperial Agents are the only options that come up. So that's like Evisaur Assassins, Inquisitors, Subductor Squads, Voidsmen, Men at Arms, like the guys that come in that Rogue Trader era.
Kill Team Box. Yeah.
Kill Team Box back in the day. Yeah. So, and Breachers, I get Navy Breachers, that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'll add some of those units at some point. I just have to figure out like how I want them to look, that sort of thing.
Yeah. But they look great, man.
Yeah, they look
Thanks.
sick.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, really nice. Really
Cool. Well, next up is me. I also have some big stumpy robots.
Sick.
Yeah.
I thought you said you mixed in some gray.
Mm.
Well, these are for my Brutalis dreadnoughts. I did them in black. So I did a bit of a different thing for each pair of dreadnoughts that I painted. So the Brutalis dreadnoughts, I did them in black. The Brutalis at the back is the GW1, the fully plastic model. The one at the front is a Redemptor body with the parts from a maker called the Custom Bit, which you can find in My Mini Factory. I think it's like a heavy combat robot or something like that, but it's basically the arms and the multi-melders and the heavy subbers up on the top are all 3D printed.
They just scream Death Company dreadnoughts. That's what they look like. I'm like, they look rad. I'm like, how can I put them in my list? How can I fit 2 Death Company?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I love them though. They were my
Those are very cool. Are those the standard claws that come with that kit?
so yeah, the ones at the back are the standard, and the ones at the front are the 3D printed.
Okay, cool.
They're very, very, very similar.
Yeah, they look awesome.
Yeah. I got the ones at the front because there was no indication of when the Brutalis was going to be coming out separately, and you could previously get it in the Agastus box set, which was going for stupid money on eBay. So maybe I can 3D print some. There we go.
That's the one with the missile launcher guys in there.
Yeah.
That box. Yeah.
Desolation Squad.
Desolation Squad. That's right.
But yeah, so I've got those. I think a couple of weeks ago I might have mentioned that I did. So on there, up on the shoulder. So on the shoulder of all my dreadnought type vehicles, I have
Yeah, the Ogham runes.
yeah. So I use the Ogham runes to put down the Icelandic name of the different creatures. So these two are Ice Bear and Frost Giant.
Dude, they are rad.
They're
Isbjorn
cool.
and Jotun.
Like you should definitely run both of these when you play against John, because they're gonna have their work cut out for them.
Like giant robot fighting pits. Yeah, I
Yeah,
totally want to
I'm
play
in.
that game. That sounds great. Yes,
Fantastic.
yes.
I'll be looking
Let's do
forward to
that.
that. And then because these are both close support dreadnoughts, they have that the close support symbol on their shoulder pad there.
Mhm.
Also, sorry, on the front, on their left side front panel is where they have the chapter marking, the chapter sigil, which for both of these is where they also put their oaths of moment or purity seals.
So you obviously did in black. What did you do all the edging and the gray with? Is that like
I used some of the dark warm gray and neutral gray from Pro Acryl.
nice?
So essentially for these, I did a light dry brush of the dark warm gray first, and then went back and did some edge highlighting with the dark warm gray, and then picked out some of the higher points with the neutral gray, and did those. Went for more sort of the scratch damage kind of look, but I didn't want to go for like silver chips or anything like that.
Right.
I hadn't done much chipping on most of my other stuff.
Mhm. I think it's subtle and looks cool. It adds
Yeah,
a lot to it.
I like
I
it a
really
lot.
like it on the transfers and like the symbols and stuff. Just like those little breaks in there just adds a lot to it. Tells a little story.
Really works well.
I also like the idea that you're like, yeah, you can't even damage the armor. You can only scratch the paint on these things. That's all you can do.
Mhm. Yeah.
Definitely. Matt asks, is that coal black or blue black? That's that black is GW Chaos Black Primer. So from Black First.
Nice.
Yeah, excellent. Then my two Invicta Tactical War suits. So for these guys, I did black shoulder pads and black sort of shoulder armor, and then everything else is gray. Got one with the twin iron hail autocannons, and the other one with the flamer.
Dude, they're so nasty. The rules for those things are insane. So the smartest way to use them is you run them with Phobos units, and then anytime the enemy shoots at a Phobos unit that's within range, as a reaction, they just get to shoot at that unit.
Right.
Like they have like a permanent Overwatch rule for other Phobos units. I was like, that's crazy.
Well, one of my favorite things with these is that their strength. So the regular dreadnoughts are like strength 12.
Yep.
These guys are strength 14. So if you charge in against somebody and use the I can't even remember the name of the stratagem. Tank shock. Use the tank shock stratagem because they're a vehicle. The tank shock stratagem gives you basically you get to roll 1 dice for each point of strength that you have.
Oh.
And on a 5 or a 6, it causes a mortal wound. Up to a maximum of 6 mortal wounds.
Oh, that's absurd, dude.
So these get to roll 14 of those.
Oh my gosh. Is that a Space Marine only thing, or is that just
tank
shock in the game?
It's
It's like a universal rule, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of your knights, John, like each charge phase, you'd be able to lay down that tank shock and get something similar. You'd be rolling like 12.
Yeah, I think the gauntlet is like strength 20 or something, isn't it?
Oh, if it is,
It's something stupid. Let me look at it. Hold on.
Yeah, thanks for telling them about that, Dave.
Yeah, dude. Thanks. Pro tips. Getting them.
I have a funny feeling my truck's going to break down on the way to Chicago, and I may not be able to make it.
Oh, come on.
May not be able to deliver these.
It's funny you guys say that. So that was my one reservation about painting a knight army. It's like most people aren't really going to want to play against it. I
Right.
think that's like the one caveat to painting an army like this. It's like, it's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward, but it's like, it's fun on my side of the table, but unless you brought the right stuff, it could make for a really miserable game.
I will state this, not having done it myself, but when I paint on weekends, I watch War Games live. So I always have a 40K tournament on my computer listening to it. And nights actually, if there's ways to drop them. I will not be able to do that at all. but there are ways to drop them, so they're not any better or worse than any other army.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I think my list will be okay against the Knights, and also remember, we've talked about this before. Dave is painting like 6,000 points of Space Marines, so he can definitely put together a list that will be able to deal with them.
Oh yeah, sure.
But yeah, no, they're super fun. And again, I'm not complaining. I'll play all day, any day. Like I would run an all Kroot infantry list against your Knights if I had to, John.
Dude, that'd be the best game. Oh my gosh, it's like the two things I love. I love Kroot too, man.
I'm going to enjoy being a little white Pomeranian running around your feet and growling a lot.
No way, dude. You have that crazy flying thing with the guns on it. Like that thing is gonna like lay waste.
I have one Stormfang gunship that I'm sure will be made into mincemeat fairly quickly.
Just don't go too close.
Yeah,
don't too close. But these ones I've got because they're like a mid range, and they can do a bit of close. They can do a bit of long range. They've got the tactical symbol.
They look fantastic.
Triangles.
I love that you used some of the tank supplies. Like on this guy, I love that he has like the propane tank. So like when they're done, they can set up the grill and they can like have a little barbecue afterwards. And
it's totally that. It's totally that. The and the guy at the front there on the right has got there's a little
that like toolkit.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of stowage from one of the I think it's from the Gene Stealer Cult Adelan Jackals kit.
That kit is awesome.
Yeah, but it's basically got like belts of ammunition in there. But yeah, I wanted to have that kind of thing where they're not just rushing into battle, they're also carrying some extra stuff, which is what they do. You just imagine the other Phobos units would load them up with things to carry. They wouldn't do it for the other dreadnoughts because that would be sort of
that's disrespectful.
Disrespectful. But for these guys, it's like, no, that's what they're there for, kind of thing. So
there's a cool 3D print bit that I've seen for the last ones. The oh god, what are they called?
These ones?
Yeah, what are they called?
The Invictor Warsuits.
Yeah, Invictors. So my only gripe with this is the same problem I have with the Grey Knights baby carrier, which is you're like, oh, so the guy that's on the front, like he's driving it. The thing seems really tough. I'll just shoot the guy. So right. I don't like that the guys are just exposed. So there's a really cool conversion kit for this that is like it has no top.
Right.
But the idea is that like it looks like a crash cage. So the guy's like snapping in place and there's like a slit and then like they're driving it and then they can either pop the top or they can pull themselves out the top. And I was like, I like that better. I think it just looks cooler that you're like, oh yeah, it's basically like a seed shield that's like covering him. And I was like, I like that.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. But for me, I think the whole thing is like goofy and ridiculous.
Oh, 100%. The aesthetic is great. I mean, the aesthetic is cool. I get it.
Going back to the in the Matrix, whichever Matrix film, when the robots.
Yeah, the loaders. Yeah, when the things are coming into the city.
Yeah, they breached Zion.
That's what they look like.
There's such a huge waste of resources building man-shaped machines that are going to stand there and be piloted by somebody who's just going to like spray like that. The turrets that they had put around that were doing a way better job.
Yep.
Which is why this is goofy and ridiculous, and I still love it. So
well, there's the kid with the wheelbarrow full of like ammo, and I'm like, you need to count on this guy. Like, there's the whole thing. Like, it's the weakest link of the chain that breaks. I was like, it's the kid in a bathrobe who's carrying ammo. Like, he's the weak link in the chain here, guys.
Yep.
But they get to scream knuckle up before they fire. I mean, how can that not? That is the whole reason for them.
This is true, and it's probably what I'm going to do too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I am not gonna criticize anyone for how things look because I have large brains riding giant canines.
Yeah,
So I'm just gonna be quiet on this.
awesome. And then the last two that I painted were the Ballistus and the Redemptor. There,
Those guys
so-
look great. I love the
they're
pink
cool.
plasma is rad.
yeah, just
Yeah, I like that too.
matches with all the other plasma in my list.
Mhm. Looks
But,
good.
and I posted a picture of this. I think I posted a picture in the group, Facebook group. And I'm just going to hold this up to the screen. There's
Oh yeah, that's his pattern of how he did the knot work. Because all that's by hand. I love that he casually threw that out there too. Like last week, he's like, "Oh yeah, and I did some scroll work by hand."
a little bit of free,
Yeah. Not a big deal.
but no, it was very much practiced like that. I had to drill that a couple of times.
Mine were by hand. I placed the decals with my hands.
Yep, it's the way to go. Had I had large enough decals in the right color, I would totally have done that.
Now these are gorgeous. They look fantastic.
Yeah, they look cool.
But yeah, so I'm happy with how they worked out. And also, so my Redemptor, I gave him the tactical. This is more of mid-range kind of thing, and the Ballistus has the long-range support symbol on him. But yeah, normally I don't do the two. Where are we going? There's that right there. Normally I don't magnetize weapons, and in this case, I also did not magnetize the weapon, but the I did the heavy onslaught Gatling cannon for it as well as the plasma.
Nice.
But it's just like push. It's like a socket,
Push to fit.
push to fit kind of thing.
What did you name those two?
These two are the Ballistus is Blood Eagle, and the and this one is the Gear Falcon, which is the basically the national bird of Iceland.
Nice.
So, but again,
Which one is Bjork? She's the national treasure of Iceland.
she is indeed. Yeah. So they've got that in Ogrim runes down
Very
there.
nice.
I just went to that this week tonight. The Poo Tacky Tacky or whatever it is.
The witch?
A what?
What?
There's a whole thing on last week tonight with John Oliver where they got the national bird or called the Poo Tacky Tacky, which is some weird bird in New Zealand.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
When you start rattling off names of birds, that popped into my head. Sorry.
Right, fair enough.
Oh. I'll be looking it up.
The next
I love that you did the yellow striped power cord on the last cannon.
right.
So I always see that and I always want to do it. And then I start doing it and I'm like, this was a mistake.
Well, it's one of the things with the around there, the tops of the sarcophagus. I've done the
I can see in the little like in the recess.
yeah. So I did that on all of them.
Tedious.
Some got the hazard stripes, some didn't, but yeah,
And had you not done that, you could have done another 1,000 points of other stuff.
possibly. But I
It's
also
Dave, though. He's just going to paint another 1,000 points of stuff.
I also got in there and painted up the Centurions. So
I love what you did to like make them taller and make them more realistic.
Yeah.
Like their dimensions are way better.
So I just with that, I'll mention it again. I followed the kind of the tutorial that was on Eons of Battle. So it's another YouTube.
I watched that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out.
So yeah, check it out. It's a good tutorial, nice and simple. It's not too much effort. You just got to have a little bit of 1mm plastic card, like plastic card sheeting.
Won't be doing that for the 3 I'm using for my wolf spear, but on the other 3 I'm doing, I will definitely do that.
Yeah.
It's such a small fix, but it makes them look so much better.
Yeah.
Super cool. And
I love their oven mitts. I love that they have like, they're hilarious. They have like lobster hands. They have like, it's like 3 fingers. They're like,
yeah.
The helm and the faceplate just really kind of make that. That just makes them look so imposing.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
helps for these. I was a little bit worried, like I didn't know where to put the like the army marking, which is that jade plate with the white line,
Right.
because I usually put that on the knee pads, and obviously with this configuration I don't have knee pads, so I'm just stuck it in the middle there.
I love the tactical thought process that went into making their hands. It's like, oh, so should we give him like power fists? And like, no, everything has power fists. You're like, oh, so like power mittens? And like, no, he has to have a finger. And you're like, why? It's like, because he has to be able to point. Like Space Marines love pointing at stuff. And you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Well, so if there are no tactical rocks around, it's how you know who's in charge.
Yeah, it's the pointing guy.
Pointing guy. But yeah. And that's the back there. So when of course in there is a regular Marine, so all of his armor, like his leg plates, are painted gray, even though the armor plating for the Centurion is split black and gray. And you can see on the cables on the las cannons there, I haven't painted the hazard striping yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I don't know if I will. I might not. Who knows? But that's enough for me. Moving on to Jake. We showed these last week, but I thought we'd show them again.
Yeah, they're all newly primed. They're all primed black now, so they are ready to go.
Cool.
They were super. Yeah, there we go. That's everything primed. So the top two on the left are my two sanguinary priests, and behind the second guy, you can see that little black hammer. I realized that in the squad I built first, I forgot to put the hammer on the sergeant, so I'm just gonna like paint this up and then scrape a little bit of the paint, and then I'm just gonna glue it onto his belt or onto his backpack.
Right.
The black guys are all the Death Company. The two red guys underneath the sanguinary priests are my two scratch built lieutenants, and then under them is my captain, and then the rest is the 10-man intercessor squad.
Yeah.
But they were fun. And again, Jeff, I can't thank you enough for the Reaver helmets. Like between you and my buddy Dave and Ben, I actually have enough that I did all these guys, and I have enough left to do another squad. So at some point when the Blood Angels get a new codex, I'm going to do all Jump Marines, and I'll do a jump Death Company that'll have all this. I love the skull helmets are awesome. I love those helmets.
Yeah, that's cool.
I actually just got in from Grey Tide Reaver skull heads, but actually I've been wolfed up. So nice. They have the two pieces that come out to the sides, and then you have the skull. The two pieces on the sides actually foil up into like tusks.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say they were like. I think you were going to say they were like sideburns. Like
I was hoping you were going to say.
No, that comes underneath. They give you a place you can put all their beard hanging out below. You know.
It's like it's a skull mask here instead of here. So the skull mask here, and then it's just braided sideburns that like come out of the skull mask.
Yeah, absolutely. With little knife blades on the end of the braids.
So good.
Excellent. Just quickly, Scott says, talking about the Centurions was, man, I remember those minis, the Marines in the Marine. Those minis stink. Those minis stink, bro. But have fun with them, would you? I would try and have fun with them, Scott, for sure.
They are turduckens.
Their rules are good. Their rules are fun.
Yeah.
Josh says, pointing guy equals in charge. Guy with foot on rock equals in charge. Guy pointing with foot on rock, really, really in charge.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Jonathan Plomer said my mission to get my basing material failed. The store was out of the AK Dark Earth.
Oh, no.
Ooh. Maybe next time, jump online, see what we can get. But finally, Jake.
They're finally all done.
Yeah.
Nice.
Look at those.
Yeah,
so what do we got there?
So the two on the left are repulsors, and the one on the far right is a repulsor, and then the one with the longer cannon is the repulsor executioner. I took a bunch of the like stuff off the sides.
Yep.
Like, by the way, these tanks are so busy. Like, if you build them the way you're supposed to build them, they're supposed to have like pods and like missile tubes and all kinds of stuff like on the turret. They look like a birthday cake. It's ridiculous. So on the Death Company one, I'm not going to have anything on it. Like I scraped off the mounting brackets, and I'm not mounting anything on the sides because it doesn't make any sense that they're like, oh, we better bring snacks for the guys. It's like, this is a bunch of slavering lunatics that are going to get dumped on somebody. It's their bad day. like we're not bringing any supplies. So the Death Company one will be painted black, obviously, and I'm going to weather that one up really bad. I almost put like a dozer blade. Like I was going to scratch make a dozer blade out of the old tank kit and have like 4 swords sticking out through the teeth on the front.
Okay.
But I was like, that's probably a little Chaos Marine, and I'm not going to do that. But that one will be all weathered up. And then the 2 repulsors, the 2 regular ones, which are the ones on the ends, those will be, red, and they'll have squad markings and stuff. I was tempted to do almost a throwback to like on the back of the Rhino box, the original Rogue Trader Rhino box. They always showed like 6 random rhinos, and one of them was a acid. It was from the acid wastes. It was a Flesh Terror's rhino from the like the Alvatine suppression, and it's like a random throwaway line that's on the box, but it's a really cool camo scheme. But I'm like, it doesn't really match. But I might do an homage to it and do like I might do a sponge stipple and do like a camouflage, like a red camouflage pattern, like just a dazzle camo pattern. But so those will both be red, and then the Executioner tank will be red, but I'll do a lot of like more like gold and like heraldry markings because that's the command tank.
Right.
But they'll be fun. They were, it's bonkers how much crap comes in that kit. It's a really, really nice kit. It's fun to build. Building all the little graph ski plates, each one of them is like 2 or 3 parts. And I was like, each one of these little things, it's like this little, like, it looks like a ski. It like there's a bunch of them. So there's the 2 big ones on the front, and then there's 3, and then there's I think 6 on each side. Or 7. I think there's 7 on each side. So I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired of building these little ski things.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's 7 on each side.
Yeah. They were fun, and they're all, I think I have them all armed the same way. So they all have the twin link last cannon, and then they have the pinto mounted stubber and the onslaught Gatling cannon. So I can tangle with troops or I can tangle with vehicles. The last Talon, I don't think the last Talon's worth it. It has like a way shorter range. And having just like 4 last cannon shots doesn't seem the best. So I was like, I'll just do the last cannon's cool. It's 2 shots and it's twin link. So I was like, okay, my odds are better there. And then having the Gatling cannon, it's pretty good. But they got rid of all the other stuff just so shooting doesn't take like a million years.
Yeah.
It used to have like literally the original one has like 8 weapon systems, and now it has basically 3. It has whatever the turret mount is, whatever the hull mount is, and then it has its defensive array, which is just like a block stat.
Yeah, it does make that a lot easier for sure.
Yeah, but I did want to get your guys' opinion on something, and I have one of the repulsors here. It's my Death Company repulsor. So if we go back to the big screen, I wanted to get your opinion here. So I have these cool. I mean, if you have more pictures, we can do those too. But I think that's.
I think that's it on there.
So I got these from Cromlech.
Right.
So it's like I don't know if you can see that, but it's like the Grim Reaper. It's like the Grim Reaper holding like a chalice.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get this one to show up better.
Nah.
Okay, yeah, I can see a little better now.
Okay, there we go.
There you go. Yeah, just bring it back a little bit. That's better.
Yeah, so it's the Grim Reaper holding a chalice, and he's kind of like looking. He's got his hood up, and he's kind of like looking down. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to mount him like this, so he's looking like towards the enemy, like he's facing that way, or if I want to mount him like this, so it's more like he's like. Oh, my fallen sons. He's like looking at the door. And it makes sense from the way that it's cast too. So like if I get this thing to stand up straight. So it's like the hood is like it would be moving this way. So it's like the hood is blowing in the right direction if he's facing the door.
Right.
Are they going to be on both sides?
Yeah, they're both the same way. So if I revert, I can either have both of them facing forward or I can have both of them facing the door.
Okay, because you have a mirror image for the other side.
Yeah, because they're mirrored.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I'm like, I don't know. I like the idea of him. I like the idea of it being like sanguineous, like with the chalice being like, oh, my poor sons, like as they're coming out the door and he's like watching over them, or if he should be like, look out, world. Then he's like looking towards whatever they're about to go murder.
I'd say looking towards murder.
Yeah,
I'd say that.
he is the Grim Reaper.
Okay.
So is the question whether or not you're going to put the plaque on the left or the right side of the door?
So like there's only enough space. It fits better here because there's more real estate.
Okay,
It's shorter on this side. So they fit here, but I'd have to like cut them and stuff. I think it actually looks better here. So but I can either have him looking this way, and then it makes sense because the hood is flowing like with the wind. Or if I have him like facing this way, like a towards the front of the tank.
Yeah. My inclination is have him facing the direction of travel of the tank. Like having him facing backwards seems odd to me, I guess, a little bit.
Okay.
Like I'm just thinking about like if I had a kick-ass van and I was going to paint a wizard on the side of it, I would definitely have him looking towards the direction of where I'm going, not looking.
You mean when you have a kick-ass van with a wizard on it?
Yeah. You know, I'm saving up.
He's already aware of the fate of these guys getting out of the vehicle. He just wants to see where they're going to meet it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I also keep going back and forth. I don't know if I should do, because the tank is going to be black. I was like, I could either paint the plaque so it's like gold, and then have the Grim Reaper being like the Angel of Death being wearing like a black robe, or if I just want to invert it and have him wearing a red robe. I've seen it painted as a red robe and it looks cool, but I was like,
yeah. Josh says the directions on the Grim Reaper say front towards enemy.
Nice. Okay, got it.
Patrick Marlin says the Shane Bell from Game of Thrones is recast in the far future as grab fleets.
Yeah, makes sense.
And Scott says, Jake, if you want any opinions, you need to get some of those Marines in Marines. They're super cool, bro. They for sure don't look like they're sculpted by a ham-fisted child.
Dang, fired.
Good old Scott. Scott, like this is all just like hate. Like Scott secretly loves. He's doing an all Centurion army. That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I also heard. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
We had a large discussion this weekend about Oppenheimer. That would take up too much time. But yeah, ask about Oppenheimer.
Oh, sorry.
They were fun, and I also, instead of the eagles on the front plates, I did my giant like the tank scale Flesh Eaters badges, so I got those on there too.
Yep. Big chumpy jaws.
Yeah, dude, I love the jaw. The jaws is the best.
I think if you were to do loads of weathering on those, that people might go, oh, are they like orc looted vehicles?
or world eaters, because it's the idea is it's the world eaters jaws, but they're closed instead of open.
Right.
Or they're similar. Theirs is more like a shark, because it has the point at the top.
Yeah.
But
all good. Okay, so we are getting close to the end of that. So figured what we'll do now is we'll have a look at the community minis, then we'll come back and we'll get our game plan for the next 4 weeks, talk about that, and then be on our way to Adepticon. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Cool. Okay, you doing okay there, Jeff?
I brought up Oppenheimer and I was just reading Scott's comment.
Okay.
I'm assuming Scott is kidding. I talked to like 3 or 4 of my friends. They watched Oppenheimer last week, and they all raved about it. Like Ben was like, he had no intention of watching it. His wife was like, "Oh, I want to watch it. Won all those Oscars. Like, let's check it out." And Ben was like, "I don't want to watch a movie about like the guy who made the atom bomb." And then he was like, "It was incredible."
Yeah.
His only knock on it was that he's like, definitely see it at home, because you can like relax on the couch and pause it, because it's 3 hours. But
if we're not careful, this show could become 3 hours from Scott's opinion on Oppenheimer.
Yep.
We covered it all over the weekend, but yeah, no.
Yeah. So for those of you who want to watch it, go check out Mike and Jeff. What's in with Mike and Jeff? And there's a whole Oppenheimer review and
yes.
Awesome. Excellent. Fantastic. So let's take a look at the community minis. So these are all from our Facebook community, Build Paint Play community. Link is in the notes below. Check them out. So this is Ben. Ben is Jake's business partner. So he's been working on some Necrons.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's knocking out a whole army for our buddy of ours who wants a whole Necron army done, and he's like, yeah, I just don't have the time. So Ben's like, yeah, drop them off, I'll do it. Ben's been having a really fun time painting Tyranids and Necrons, and he's like, I didn't realize how fun and quick they are to paint, and he's loving it. This guy's hilarious. I really want to like take out those cubes and just make him a dice holder.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make a quick suggestion now. You can take this back to Ben if he's not watching. He's probably in the store at the moment. But I would recommend that when you're taking photos of miniatures that are gold,
Don't have the terrain match.
don't have the terrain, a gold piece of terrain behind it. Yeah. So we get a little bit more differentiation. But that'll be fine. But yeah, otherwise, super cool. And these guys,
They're great.
crazy Scorpec destroyers, are ridiculous.
The guy in the back, the Scorpec Lord.
Yeah.
I try not to buy a lot of other weird models. He's one of the few Necrons I own. I don't know. I'm never going to use him, but I was like,
Mhm.
he's so cool looking.
Yeah, he is. He's massive too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's big.
I have the same thing with who's the one Necron character who's like sucking the soul out of the other guy, like Xeris or something like
Yeah,
that.
I think
his
that's
name?
Illuminator Zaris.
Yeah, I don't have a Necron army, but I bought that guy just because the model is so
Yeah,
cool.
he's like
It's just
dismantling that
amazing.
guy.
Yeah, it's like sucking his soul out. He's so awesome. Like it's such a great kid.
And Josh said Ben fail, more like Ben succeeds.
I'll have to tell him that one.
I'm sure he hasn't heard that before. But and Scott said, "Nice work, Ben. Fun fact: you could paint 20 armies while watching Oppenheimer." Fantastic. But no, they look great, Ben. Nice work. Next up, Chris Gorka painted up this Titan from Mythic Battles, I think. Mythic Pantheon?
Yeah, I think he said it's Atlas, right? It's Atlas from Mythic
Atlas,
Pantheon.
right. Okay. But yeah, did a fantastic job.
He's
That
cool.
face is amazing.
Yeah.
Nice skin tones for sure. Very cool.
He's definitely sunburned. That guy did not put on his SPF.
No. Spent a bunch of time in the wild, but yeah, looking really nice there,
He's
Chris.
great. Yeah, his face is so good. He did such a good detail.
Yeah, really nice job.
I wonder if I can use that to open my phone. Somebody could.
That's Steve's angry face.
Here's my angry face. But no, beautiful work there, Chris. Love it. Chris Kemig has been working on some Legions Imperialis. So a bunch of cool.
Those are all technically what, Leaving Rust Vanquishers, the extended barrel.
I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
But,
Those tiny tanks, man, they are tempting. They are very cool.
they are. The amount of detail on those is just crazy.
It reminds me of
Yeah.
Micro Machines. Remember Micro Machines?
Totally, 100%, man.
That's what it reminds me of.
I could definitely. There's been quite a few photos over the last month or so that I've seen that, where it's like, hang on a second, is that? You have to check to see whether it's a 40K scale or a Legion Imperialis scale.
Yeah, it's tricky. A friend of ours, Jake, he's painting a bunch of that stuff right now, and it's unbelievable the amount of detail he's able to achieve with those. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, like if Chris hadn't put these like on his paint palette and instead had them like on a table with terrain and it was scaled right, you'd be like, is that a 40? Is that a 28 mil or is that a, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful work there, Chris.
he
And,
even painted the tank commander in like the front one.
Yeah.
The guy's
I
out
see
of the
him.
hatch. Drive me closer so I can hit it with my chainsword.
And Dan Wood says, yeah, those are vanquishers.
Yeah, those are rad.
So, awesome. Fabrice. Good to see
Fabrice.
Fabrice.
Nice.
Fabrice is a guy that we used to work with at Games Workshop. And Fabrice is working on
here. He has converted Archeon on foot.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
An amazing chunky metal mini. It's looking fantastic.
Wasn't he a Games Day model? Archeon on foot?
Yeah.
I think so. Yep.
It's like 2003. Something like that. But yeah, he looks great there. I think Reese done an excellent conversion job, and looking forward to seeing him painted. This guy here,
There we
I think
go.
he was a special mini from one of the army boxes.
I like that helmet. It's very cool.
Yeah, that was one of the cool things. So the model is a metal model.
Oh,
And,
awesome.
plastic
Yeah.
box.
I'm kind of lukewarm on a lot of the really elaborate Bretonian helmets. Like
Okay.
sometimes they just get a little bit too like a cake on top of my helmet kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, that one's really cool. I like it when they have antlers or they're a little bit more subtle.
Yeah.
You know, they're more
The antler,
integrated into the design of the helmet.
the antlers one was my favorite. The antlers one's the best.
Yeah, that one's really cool for sure.
The Duke on Pegasus is insane. The hat that he wears is just insane.
Awesome. Sorry, Scott just said to see that new tank GW is making. It's a huge tank. It's made of a small tank parked in a medium tank inside a massive tank. They've ordered 5. Yes, it is indeed a tank. And but no, Fabrice, looking great. Thanks for sharing. We want to see more of your Bretonians. They're looking good. Jason Dyer has painted up some more Rough Riders.
Nice, those are cool.
Last week we saw the
They're great.
Winged Lancers. These ones are Deathcore.
Dude, they look
I don't
so
recognize
good.
those horses. Are those like the newer ones or?
Those are
They're-
the Victoria miniature ones
Victoria
Oh,
Miniature.
cool.
from her
Yeah, I haven't seen these
Operation Warhorse.
Nice. Oh,
That
neat.
one right here. I just happened to be looking at them the other day. But yeah,
cool.
so he's got these, and I think just like a few hours before the show, he posted another photo of the next 10 Deathcore
Those are awesome.
riders. So I think Jason's got about 20 more cavalry to paint before Adepticon. But yeah, looking great. Nice work, Jason.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, awesome.
John Steining has been painting up after we saw his Bretonians last week. Excited, and so he's been reading the Empire list and started working on.
Oh, dude, this was like the bane of my existence for all my armies. Like, I'd be setting up and I'd be like, "Oh, this guy with 9 war machines. Are you kidding me?"
They are less. They're not as nasty as they used to be. Like cannons, I think do D3 wounds now instead of D6.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're still a thing for sure.
Yeah, but, yeah, definitely cool. The so we've got the what is it? The volley gun.
Oh,
Yeah.
On the left hand side there is the original metal volley gun, and then 3D printed cannons on the right.
that would tear apart the lance formation in a heartbeat. Oop.
Yeah,
Right, and that's and I run the. I'm sure John remembers. I run the vampire counts like he does, but I run the Curse Shield of Musalon list, which is the undead Bretonians in the lance formation. So it's like every time I saw war machines, I was like, "Oh God!"
Here we go.
How many points are cannons now? So
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. Probably about 100 points, I'd assume.
yeah. But John, they look very cool. I like the scheme. Next up, we've got Josh Potter. Josh has posted these. These are from Sea Dog's sci-fi game. I think they were the Mars Murder Battery.
Those are crazy looking.
Yeah, those
But Josh will let us know. John Sane says, I think they're 100 points.
yeah.
He also says, might be too many, but can you really have too many cannons?
No.
I don't know.
That's where you need to run like either if you're playing Bretonians, you need to run either the Pegasus Knights or the Green Knights so he can like duck into terrain and come out behind him. Or you need, if you're running vampire counts, it's like, thank God I took Banshees, so I'm gonna go scare the shit out of your weapon crew so they leave.
Green Knight's not available anymore. He's gone to the 40K universe to be Lionel Johnson. Coming out of the woods there instead.
Yeah.
These remind me of like the little robots from was it not Silent, is it Silent Running?
Silent Running, Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they remind me of.
Or the original 40K Dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bjorn is not.
There you go. Josh said the Mars Defense Battle Bastards.
Look great.
So
They're cool.
yeah, looking very cool there, Josh. That wonderful orange and black scheme.
Yeah, it's a good scheme.
Yeah. Awesome. I think Josh is going to be at Adepticon running games with these guys.
Sean says they're the little vehicles for creating Voltron. For vehicle Voltron.
Vehicle Voltron. And Josh says it's 10 mil scale. So a little bit bigger than Legion's Imperialis. But yeah, looking great there, Josh. Nice work.
Very cool.
Next up, we've got Ken Hartnett. Ken has been working on this. Oh, what are they called?
That's a broadside.
Broadside. Thank you. Yeah, broadside. So he's just gone and assembled, and I think you can see he's. I don't know what they call those. The crazy sort of arrangements of the
like the Eber sticks.
Just a
Little
pegboard.
alligator clips.
Alligator clips. There we go. Alligator clips. That's the word I was.
That's what the clip part is called. That whole apparatus I've seen in airbrushing catalogs before. It probably has a name, but I don't know what it's called.
Yeah. Ken's an old buddy of mine, and he's done tons of Gundams, and he liked to he's always liked the 40K lore, but he's never really played. So he started like digging into it a little bit, and he saw the Tau, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get some Tau." So he got this one. I think he got one broadside and kind of started with this, and now it's like, it's like that. Hey man, you got any more of that Tau? Like, the first taste is free. He's been calling me. He's like, "Hey, do you have any crisis suits?" And I was like, "Yep." He's like, "Do you have Farsight in stock?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, okay. So he just ordered them the other day.
Awesome. Yep, looking very cool. I love that scheme as well. That,
yeah, because he's doing Farsight, the Farsight Enclaves. So
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, definitely looks good. Nice work, Ken. Keep it up. We want to see some more. Oh, Helping Hands says DJ's Outdoor Adventures.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely cool.
Good old Christian killing it here again.
Yep. So yeah, Christian's he wrote a cool little piece of fiction as well that went along with this this book, but basically about these guys falling back until they can get behind this wall. But again, great looking stuff.
Yeah, the guy on the left is like, "You need to drop in some Astartes."
Like yesterday.
Yeah. I must admit, like initially I thought it was like he finally got to a point where he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna die. Let me just like light up the cigarette."
Yeah.
Just put his rebreather on.
Last smoke.
And take the rebreather off so I can have a smoke, like last smoke.
I really appreciate like the inherent bravery of the sergeant on the right with the chainsword. He's like, "All right, boys, line up. I'll take care of these clowns when they get here." And you're like, "Really? Like,
I'm not sure.
You don't want to shoot them? You want to wait with your sword? Okay."
Maybe the two cultists coming at the front, but not those Marines behind. But yeah, looking great. Nice work. Next up, Luis, who started on his first Gundam miniature. Well, sorry, did a miniature of a Gundam last week, brush painted. It was the first time he'd done some there. Is working on some Necrons. So pretty excited to see what you can do with these.
He drilled out the end of the Gauss rifle too.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Which I appreciated. I was like, "Oh, well done."
That's good. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what you can do. Nathan Sorensen posted this photo.
That's cool.
Trying to remember so he posted this afternoon, and I think basically he was trying to get a very cool atmospheric shot, and you can zoom in a little bit on that face. That's like an Arnie Terminator head.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Half Arnie, half sort of T. What was it? T100? What was he?
Yeah, T800.
T800 was he? But yeah, quite cool. And I'm always interested in sort of how to put one of these sort of shots together. And thankfully, Nathan posted a photo of his the setup.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I like seeing that sort of thing too, like how people set up photographs and things like that. They kind of like
the terrain. The terrain's all Gale Force 9. That's all Gale Force 9 pre-painted terrain.
Yeah, I have some of that stuff. I think the round bit I think the rounded part.
It's yeah, looks it's very cool. A lot of fun messing around with that kind of thing. Nice work, Nathan. Thanks for sharing.
I like all the pulled cotton he's got in the background that he's like sprayed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Give it that billowing smoke kind of look.
Very cool.
For me, a couple slides back, the sergeant that was looking the other way and pointing at the two guys coming to that guy.
Yeah.
That's what he sees behind them.
All right.
The sergeants are here.
You guys were saved.
Yeah.
This guy's coming to save us.
This guy.
This kid by himself.
Ron, get to the chopper.
Are you idiots still down there? We're leaving.
But yeah, nice work, Nathan. Excellent.
That's super cool.
Next up, we've got some shots from friend of ours, Pete Underwood.
Dude, Pete is killing it. Like I always,
awesome.
I don't want to say forget, because Pete's always been a phenomenal painter. He painted a Blood Angels army that was in the Harvard Square bunker, and it was gorgeous. He did them a super dark, like almost crimson and carmine color, and they're money. Pete is like one of the most solid painters that I know, and he like these models look incredible.
Yeah, this is the Horus Ascended version.
Yeah, after his membership to the Chaos Gym has been like in full flex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it looks super cool. Beautiful.
Like that underglow on the face. He did a really nice job on that.
Yeah,
Really nice.
My wife was on Facebook and she saw that. She was like, wow, is that Pete that we know? And I was like, yeah. She's like, it's like, I don't know a lot about painting, but that looks great. I was like, yeah, Pete's pretty good. He knows his stuff. Like,
yeah. No, definitely awesome. Great work, Pete.
I like the way he did like the greens too on the armor, like the fade into the like, or the fade into the dark green from the light. It's really cool.
Yeah. Okay. Dan says that's the normal version. Horus Ascended is more of a walking pose. I guess.
Yeah, I think his face looks crazier too, I believe.
Yeah. I guess I just haven't seen this guy not on the eagle staircase. But yeah. No, thanks for that.
I was too busy admiring the paint job to realize that that's gorgeous.
Yep.
There's so much stuff there.
Absolutely. Excellent. Great work, Pete. Here's another piece from Pete.
So good.
I like those wings. They're cool.
The wings look phenomenal, but I like the subtle green in the dragon's armor plates.
Yeah.
Like it's sneaky. For a while, I was like, oh, it's just black. And then I was like, oh, wait, no. Like it's really, really neat.
Very nice.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. And then this guy.
That model's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that he's a dragon. He's like, hang on, I have to put on my vambrances.
Yeah.
And my cool necklace. Now I'm all set.
And strike a pose. There we go. We're good.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Sean Connery's dragon in was it Dragonheart?
Dragonheart, yes.
Yeah.
No, Pete is killing it. I don't understand why he doesn't enter more competitions, because Pete is very talented.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Beautiful work there, Pete. Thanks very much for sharing. We look forward to seeing more in the future. But yeah, definitely awesome. Ross Vanilla.
Great.
Yeah. And this up. He said originally this was from Wrath of Kings.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember this from the range. It might have been one of the.
It's part of the Shale Han.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
I don't remember what he's called, but he's one of the Shale Han dudes.
Right. Yeah, I never collected any of them, so that would explain my lack of knowledge. But
they were like the celestial Chinese dudes.
Yep. But cool. And also this one I remember. This is from the game Hate.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, sure.
I was like, is that from Hate?
Yeah. Yep. So it's designed by all the artwork is from Adrian Smith's graphic novel Hate.
I love that they did that game as like a Kickstarter exclusive only. It was never going to be in stores, just because they were like, we're going to make this cool game because Adrian spent all this time making these cool things. And you were like, that's pretty rad.
Yep.
It's all like mutant cannibals.
Yeah, it's just it's basically the Chaos Wastes turned up to 11.
With a healthy dose of like the idea of Gorka Morka.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And more spikes.
Is it like is it function like Blood Rage at all, or like it's a board game, right?
It's a board game, but the idea is like if the four of us are gonna play, we each pick like a guy, and they're all tyrants. And the idea is that each tyrant kind of has their own thing that they do, and then our war bands fight. So it's like a cross between Warcry and Gorka Morka as a board game. It's bonkers, and it's all Adrian's like crazy art and stuff. So
got it. But it's like a player versus player skirmish.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And like you can whatever we kill, like if I kill like 7 or 8 of your dudes and I win the battle, I can eat your dudes, and then my guys get more power. It's crazy. It's like a really it's a wacky board game, but it's awesome.
Okay. Yeah. But this model is huge. It's probably like 4 or 5 inches tall.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Just really big, solid. This is one of the tyrants. But yeah, looking great there, Ross. Nice one. Nice work.
They're great.
Next up, Sean Gleason.
Yeah.
Nice.
Odd for some ash waste.
Heck yeah.
Thought we get a response there from John Shaffer. Yeah.
I love Necromunda so much. It is the best game.
Yep. So these
Those
are two of the on the outsides are two of the regular quads from the original Ash Wastes starter set, I guess. And then the one in the middle is the named character.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, with the auto gun, and he has like the belt ammo.
Yep.
She has a rocket launcher. It's like a missile. That's like I think those are rockets on a belt.
Yeah, it's a belt-head missile launcher.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just beautifully crazy.
Yep. Necromunda.
Yep.
Josh, thanks for watching, man.
Yep. Thanks very much. I think Josh is going to get started on his Twitch stream, so head on over and check that out. We'll be finished here in a moment. So yeah, go to Twitch. JP got rockets.
Sean says Marlena.
Once you're here, Marlena. Oh yeah, Sean says Marlena. That's the name of the
That's her name.
character. Cool. And Steven Ryder has been messing around with his wet palette paper as well, and created another masterpiece. There we go. So
It's so funny to me that he does like he like sort of carefully puts his paint back on his palette until he's done, and then he like does that.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. Okay.
Nice.
So that brings us to the end of the community miniatures. Definitely go and check out the Build Paint Play community on Facebook. Ask to join and come on in and share your work with us. I think that's it for the evening. No, we're going to go just quickly run around, 30-second rundown. Jeff, what are you going to be working on next?
I want to finish up these Inceptors, and then I'm off to the Heavy Intercessors and the Jump Pack Intercessors, and then I'm going to work on the Turduckins last.
Cool.
Centuries.
Excellent.
That's the order of process, and I've got, like I said, I got about 1.4 a day to get done in time. So
Excellent. You can do it. You can do it.
hoping.
It can be done.
John Schaefer.
I'm going to paint the guys that I have. Essentially, that's what I need to do. But the big thing that I have to get done is I have to draw all of the custom decals that I need. So I might not have those done in time for Adepticon, but I'll get them done later.
Okay, cool.
If you get that stuff to the guys at Death Ray, they should be able to get the turnarounds pretty quick.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I could probably focus on doing that, but my weekend is going to be busy doing other stuff, so I won't really get a chance to do it. So yeah, I'll see if I can get it done this week.
Yep. In your time. Cool. Excellent. Jake. Everything.
So it's been freezing here the last like couple of days, like the last probably like 7 or 8 days. But supposedly tomorrow's supposed to be 50. So if it's 50, I'm gonna prime all 4 of the tanks so that everything I have is primed, and then I don't, because that was a big thing. I was like, man, if it stays cold, like I can't work on these. So, but if it's, well, like I said, it's supposed to be 50 either tomorrow or Thursday. So if it is, I'm gonna take these to work, prime them, and then get them ready to go. And then my plan is I'm gonna knock out the 2 10-man squads of intercessors, next, and then I'll probably do. I think I'm going to save the Death Company for last because I want to do. I'm excited, really excited about them. I'm going to save them for last. So I'll do them, and then I'll do the 2 tanks that they go in. So I'll have both squads with their transports done. That's next for me.
Okay, cool, awesome. Next up for me is I've got the fast attack sort of stuff to come. So drop pods. So I've got 3 drop pods to work on, and dudes on jet bikes. Yeah,
Those are great.
Those are cool.
So that'll be fun. Yeah, it's a 3D conversion kit from a guy called Scriv Paints.
Did you have to build more of those skis?
Yeah. More. Look at him.
Does it convert a Outrider jet bike, or is it just like an entire 3D print?
No, it converts a regular Outrider bike.
Oh, cool.
Thing.
Nice.
So I have some others that aren't within reach. Surprise, and then that I had to cut I'd already made the bikes, so I had to cut the wheels off, trim them down.
I had hopes of adding these Outriders to the mix.
Yep.
But because I got the Grey Tide Space Wolf, basically the
All right.
kit.
Very nice.
Don't know if I'm going to get to them or not. So.
No worries.
Eventually, though, even if after Adepticon, they're going to become part of the army.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. Just quickly, Scott said I liked the episode in an official capacity. It was in spite of, not because of Jake's 10-minute intro where he described books he's read while spoiling everything without saying no spoilers.
Please, I didn't spoil anything. Like he's like, what? Wait, Horse gets killed?
Yeah.
What?
The Emperor
Oh,
enters
man.
the throne. But anyway, so thank you once again, Jeff. Thank you once again, John, for joining us this evening in episode 5 of Tale of 4 Warlords. So we've got 2 episodes to go. The next one will be just before Adepticon, and then the one after will be we've got that relaxing month after Adepticon, where we have all the time in the world, so much time in the world.
No kidding.
Just so we'll go through and be able to wrap everything up, which should be very cool.
I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. It'll be cool for us to all get to hang out in person and play some games. It's been a minute. So
yeah, for sure.
Excellent.
I was trying to think of the last time. I think the last time we were all in the same building has got to be back in like 2006 or 7 or something. They did that.
Probably
there was that fantasy tournament that they did in the bunker. And it was like all the managers and then guys from trade and then guys from the warehouse. Because like Jason and Chad were there. And then all the guys from Jeff's bunker staff. But man, that's probably the last time.
It'll be good. It'll be cool. Looking forward to it. Next week, we have Patrick Keith joining us from Bombshell Minis. So definitely drop in and check that out. We're going to talk to him about traditional sculpting, digital sculpting, and the way he sees the world going, which would be super cool. Thanks once again to the Army Painter, our season sponsor, and thanks again to Armored Wolf, who is our Warlord sponsor. So very excited about both of those. Check out all the links in the notes below. And while I'm saying all of this, I probably should have been getting everything ready to bug out.
Yeah, Dave, geez.
Okay, I'm ready now, though.
All right. Well, I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. And thank you guys again for joining us. And as always, don't forget to build, paint, play.